That morning, she left the divorce papers on the kitchen counter without a glance. She placed them there like they were nothing more than a receipt for some forgotten transaction, then called me a failure of a husband and walked out without a pause. The sharp click of her heels on the tile echoed through the silent room like a final verdict. I just stood there, holding the coffee I had made for her every morning for nearly 10 years. It was still warm, untouched. She hadn't even taken a sip. That was the last time I saw her composed. It hadn't always been like this. She used to laugh in her sleep, soft, beautiful laughter that told me she was happy. We met in college when I had nothing but hand-me-down textbooks and a car that stalled more often than it started. But she said she loved my drive. She believed in the fire burning inside me. She told me I was meant for something greater. I cleared her debts while juggling 2 jobs. I balanced her boutique's books, packed shipments, skipped breaks and holidays, anything to help her dream come alive. My own dreams waited patiently in the wings. Her friends said I was too reserved, too quiet. I didn't mind. I was laying bricks for something real, something that would last, or so I thought. Then the late nights started. The guarded phone calls. The clipped conversations. And then came him. Kyle. Barely old enough to rent a car, fresh out of business school, with a polished smile and borrowed confidence. She said he made her feel alive again. She said I was fading, that I'd become a shadow of the man I once was. I didn't argue. I didn't plead. I simply smiled. She mistook that for surrender. She never asked about the man who taught me to endure, the father who smiled through financial ruin and rebuilt everything from scratch. She married someone soft-spoken and assumed he was weak. That was her misstep. I moved out quietly, rented a modest loft in the city, and vanished from her view. But I wasn't gone. I was working. I sold off investments she never knew I had, crypto, stocks, side businesses, all built quietly when she thought I was sleeping. I called in favors, sold assets, liquidated what needed to be liquidated, and streamlined everything. Turns out I wasn't idle at all. I was preparing. Then the investigator showed up. Not for her, she was predictable. For him. Kyle had secrets, debts, legal troubles, restraining orders, a trail of bad decisions and worse judgment. I never told her. I wanted the truth to unravel on its own. They married 6 months later. I didn't show up. I sent flowers instead, white lies for a white honeymoon. Her honeymoon photos showed up online. Smiles, champagne, bathrobes, promises of fresh starts. She hoped I was watching. I wasn't. I was already playing a longer game. I used shell companies to buy out her suppliers, raised her costs, rerouted deliveries. Her business began to crumble. She blamed the economy. Kyle came home less and less. I observed. Said nothing. Eventually the messages started. At first casual. Then confused. Then desperate. She didn't understand why everything was falling apart. I didn't reply. Not until 3:12 a.m. when I got a voicemail, her voice trembling, sobbing. Kyle had drained their accounts and vanished. She was scared. Alone. She missed me. I listened twice before deleting it. 2 weeks later I walked into her boutique. She didn't see me at first. She looked thinner. Drained, like someone who'd finally woken up inside a nightmare. When our eyes met, she froze. "You look different," she whispered. "I am." The store was nearly empty, bare shelves, hollow energy, a fading dream. "I heard Kyle's gone," I said quietly. Her eyes darted away. "He wasn't who I thought." I nodded. "Neither was I." She reached out. I stayed still. "I made a mistake," she said softly. "No," I replied. "You made a wager. You bet I couldn't rise without you, that I needed you to build me up. You never realized I was always building. You were just nearby." She looked like she might argue, then her gaze dropped. I turned to leave but paused. "One more thing," I said, handing her a folded sheet of paper. She opened it. Her boutique lease, terminated. I had bought the property. Eviction in 2 weeks. She opened her mouth to speak, but I was already walking away. That was 3 months ago. She calls now, dozens of times a day. I never answer, not to punish her but because I've found peace. Now I sit in my office, the city skyline glowing through the windows. I sip the same coffee I once made for her every morning. Only this time, it tastes like something entirely different.